Hello, happy Monday, you beautiful soul. This is just a disclaimer if you are watching on YouTube. I am so very sorry. I had a technical accident and my camera only recorded to 11 minutes. So you will still have the full episode here, but you will only see my face up to 11 minutes. I am so sorry. I will fix it for next week. It does not take away anything from this episode though. You can also opt for other audio streaming sites like Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Mdundo, but I hope you still get to enjoy the episode. So let's get to it. Hello, beautiful people of the planet. How are you doing? I hope you have a lovely week that's coming up because I record this on Sunday, so your week is just starting out. I hope last week was also bearable. I know it's also mid-month. It's not easy, but hold on there. We will be fine. And I'd like to just start this episode by really thanking you. I am so grateful for all the love, all the support, even on days when I'm putting out a prompt and I'm just like, this might be a very personal experience. I don't think there's anyone out there who can even share. I still find people who share. And honestly, it is great honor that you have trusted me with your stories. You have trusted me with secrets you've never told people. You have trusted me to come here and find and commune with other people having similar experiences. And you have supported me. And every week, I know I put out an episode. I'm looking at 300 YouTube views every week. Spotify, I'm looking at probably 500 listens every single week. On Google Podcasts, I'm looking at 200 every single week. My goodness. Like I cannot, when I started this podcast, my mind could not dare even imagine what it looks like right now. And I just want to say, I am so full of gratitude and thank you so much. I don't even know what to do with you. I don't know. I'm just gratitude is a must. Please, thank you. Welcome to another episode. I would like to remind you that I am open to partnerships. Please, you can always sponsor an episode or a season. You can have a mention. You can run advertisements on this podcast. And I have all my contacts in the description below. So you can just reach me when you can. When you can, baby, please reach out to me. But I'll start doing shout outs for responses I get on Spotify. Last week, I got someone called Janet. We were talking about what have you learned now that you're in your adulthood. You understand better now. And she says, I learned that my aunties who are in their 30s were not exactly missing out on anything. They were okay. They were not missing out on anything. And it's beautiful to learn that because it's quite related to to actually the topic that we are talking about today. So I would like to welcome you to another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is Olive Orao, and I was asking, why you a good child? Why you easy to raise? And how are you different now as an adult? So here are some of the responses that I got. I would like to remind you that I put out prompts on Thursday on my social media, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You will find people talking in the comments. You can get to interact there as well. But here I have responses that come in directly to my DM, my email, and my prompts. So our first person here, why you a good child and how are you different now? I was a manipulative demon lastborn. I was a manipulative demon lastborn, but now I am a mom to my replica, but she's just manipulative. Isn't it beautiful when you're served a dose of your own medicine? Isn't it? Anyway, I laugh at my sister all the time because literally she gave birth to herself. And sometimes my niece does something and I'm just like, yo, I don't know what you're going to do about that because that's you. That's all you. But anyway, here's the thing. Not manipulative, but outspoken kids, or rather expressive kids, tend to be more successful because they're able to ask for the things they want. They're able to express and articulate what they're feeling. And that's what the systems favor. So I'm sure you are doing really well in your adulthood, and do not worry, your daughter will be as beautiful and as great at whatever they do as you are. So a win is a win, eh? A win is a win. Someone else says, Miss Goody Two Shoes, now I don't care about pleasing anyone. Please. Hey, kuchoka. Yes, you will get tired at some point. I feel like millennials, goody two shoes got tired, but I feel like the generations before just like some people went to the grave being goody two shoes. It never rewarded them, but somehow they believed the reward is going to come from somewhere. But right now I see three things happening. I see people who crack, because a goody two shoe is going to crack at some point, but they crack moderately, like us. You try and figure out you go to therapy, you find yourself, da da da. And then there's goody two shoes who crack a good one. They crack like they're on crack. They go to the exact opposite extreme. Have you ever seen people who were like just good? I'd give an example of people who were like saved in church. They were just genuinely people who we thought were being used as instruments by the Lord. And they woke up one day and they were just doing things like they were actual terrorists. These people and jihadists, no difference. So yeah, you can actually crack to the extreme. I don't know the psychology behind that. Or you can actually die being a goody two shoes. There will be no reward. We'll actually still come to your burial and actually try and find, where's your family? And why aren't they shughulikiaing things the way they should be bothered by us as guests, Because the goody two shoes used to do what? Everything. And now we've come to your funeral and you're not there to do everything. Now we expect someone to take up and, pick up the slack. So yeah, it can end three ways. But I am glad that you actually cracked moderately and you're just like, I'm not pleasing people anymore. Yeah. Over there, you go do you. Someone else says, Olive, I'm looking forward to do a master's in family and marriage therapy. Hapo ndo niko. I love this. I love when people experience something in their personal life and they take the opportunity to go learn it better and specialize in it. I know of a friend who's queer, and when the mom learned about it, when she came out to her mom actually went back to school to just like learn something actually related, psychology or therapy or something of the sort. Yeah, her mom actually went back to school and tried to understand how to cater better to the daughter. And I'm just like, yo, what levels of wholesome is this? So I love this for you. I love that you're actually going back to just understand family, marriage, the entire thing, and just, I don't know, work with it and impact lives from there. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for your service. Someone else says, I was a good child. I still am. I tried being a bad girl. Lol, nikashindwa. It's not for me. I admire the bad girls, though. They seem to be having fun at life. Aki, the bad girls are having fun. Oh my goodness. It's FOMO every day. But anyway, you say you tried to be a bad girl. It just doesn't work. What you need to understand is that if you grew up a good person, okay, I don't want to say a good person, because being a good person is good. Being a goody two shoes is different. You are just like, you are working for validation from people. Like, you're good because of a reward. You're not just good. You get it. Yeah. So you're saying you try to be a bad person and it just doesn't work. You need to understand, even as we are grown, there's still traces of being a goody two shoes. Like right now I live by myself, but I still won't come home late. I still want, there are things I still want to do that are very much related to how I was trained when I was being a good girl, right? So it's really difficult to leave parts of you behind and be like, now I'm bad. Good girl gone bad. You remember when Riri went rogue? Yeah, I'm probably thinking Riri just grew up and said, fuck it. And people decided, she's not a good girl anymore. We don't like her like that. She's gone rogue. Yeah. But anyway, you will still continue to be like genuinely, you'll still have traces of what you were as a good girl. But yes, bad girls are having fun. Girls who already, I'm going to give a good example. You see, as we were out here saving ourselves for the men who are literally national property, they've been everywhere. As we're saving ourselves for them. So some girls were out here saving themselves. Some girls had embraced what? Promiscuity, hypergamy, Um, so they were socialites, and as we were out here judging, some girls joined. When girls joined OnlyFans to make money, as we were out here judging, clutching our pearls, like, oh my goodness, that's not ladylike. Girls have flown in private jets. Have you? Girls have booked vacations in destinations that are only dreams to you. Have you? What has your punani with one body count bought you? A bus ticket to a toxic workplace that pays you 20,000 Kenyan shillings, eh? So yeah, think about it. I always say, my friend keeps reiterating what I told her once. Good girls finish last. Yes, I'm sorry. Not in a bad way. Please, 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 please find context. Find context. I'm not enabling toxicity here. But find context and realize that when you're doing good for a reward, there will be no reward. Just be good. The way you expected to be good as a human being. Be kind. Extend grace to people. Just do unto others as you'd like be done to you. Simple. But don't go out here doing things expecting people to do it back to you, or expecting, I don't know. Just don't be good because you're expecting a reward. There's no reward. Someone else says, very good. A-level good. So good that I started putting up boundaries, because good was heavy people pleasing and my family ate it up. I would never complain, do what I am told and all the house chores. What's different, love, is that I love myself and my validation doesn't come from doing things for people or making them happy. My brother keeps telling me, Naume, change. I'm like, yeah. Because I'm not out here letting all of you step on me. My existence does not depend on ticking the boxes of what you think I should be that is convenient for you. Hey, can somebody say amen? If you were a goody two-shoes and you decided to choose yourself, you'll hear a lot of, you've changed. You've changed. From the people who are tapping into the convenience they had when misusing you, you will hear a lot of you've changed. And a lot of this comes from family, because they were the people who tapped directly into having you conveniently. So I love this for you, girl, that you've gotten to a point where you're just like, no, I will not seek for validation externally again. I will not do things that if I look at, if I analyze, does not serve me. I'm just doing it so that it can serve you, right? And what for? Small validation. I love this for you. I love this for you. I love that your brother says you have changed and you're just like, yes, I have. Keep up. This is the current news. I love it. I love it. And family, oh my goodness. If you were a firstborn, or you were parentified and you were goody two shoes, my goodness, I don't know. We should do a fundraiser for your therapy, because someone else says, working through chronic people pleasing and trying to fix everyone. Oh my goodness. We talk a lot about people pleasing. We don't talk enough about the messianic responsibility that comes with being a goody two shoes. You start to feel like it is it is your responsibility to save everyone. And I was telling you, when I was in the pits of depression and I actually wanted to unalive myself, if right now I look at the reasons and I'm like, none of the reasons actually related to me. I was just like, I can't save the world. Like, there's something happening somewhere every single day and I can't run to rescue that situation. And for that reason, I am constantly overwhelmed by negative things that are happening across the world. And I stopped watching news. I stopped consuming anything that is negative, anything that involves pain and hurt. I stopped consuming. I only watch happy movies. I only listen to happy music. You will not find me seated watching the news bulletin. If it's something that is very concerning that I need to know about, like the finance bill, I will scroll through a newspaper and find exactly what I want to know about that thing and read about it. I am not about to consume anything that's gonna mess me up like that. So yes, fixing everyone and people pleasing. That's what all of us are doing. By the way, the most common issue we are dealing with, all of us, is people pleasing. Someone else says, Yes, 2018. Nilidungwa mimba na nikarukwa after being celibate for 2 years waiting for Mr. Right. Nikajua sijui. Baby girl. Ooh. You've had these stories of girls who kept themselves and were just chaste and they were ladies and they were waiting for that man. And the first time they had sex, they even experienced an orgasm their whole life. They were pregnant. And this man said, I don't know what you're talking about. I am find whoever will father that child. I'm out. So honestly, this is an exact situation of me telling you that good girls finish last. You you keeping yourself, you can be, here's the thing, please don't get me wrong. You can be a virgin and choose to be a virgin because you prefer to be a virgin. You can be celibate and choose to be celibate because you want to be celibate. But if you're doing these two things because you're waiting on a reward, like a good man, like a good husband, like this is the gift I will offer my husband, my goodness, you're in for a huge disappointment. I hope you don't experience it. I hope you actually genuinely get someone who cares for you the way you've cared to protect whatever it is for them. I hope you do. But just know the chances are you're going to get your heart broken. So if you're doing it because of how we've been trained to be ladylike, I don't think you should be doing it. But if you want to stay celibate just because, like, I've been celibate for quite a while, and just because it's peaceful, like I don't have to deal with the, what is it called? A walk of shame. You don't have to deal with the awkward morning after. You don't have to deal with the pregnancy scares. You don't have to deal with, I don't know, like being celibate is just very easy for me. That's why I'm choosing it. But if I was celibate because I want to gift it to, I don't know, some random man who I don't know what they are doing right now where, chunga. I am so sorry you're in this situation. You will get your child and you'll be an amazing parent and you'll figure it out and you'll make it through. Trust. You're not the first one and you will be fine. I'm sending all my love and all my hugs to you. You will be fine. Someone else says, was a good child, of course. Now I realize my mom is toxic and my family is dysfunctional. It affects me. It definitely will affect you. And one thing you will learn once you're the good, okay, so the children who are terrorists, them, they're just used to living in a world of chaos. They're used to either getting scolded, getting shouted at, or whatever. Chaos is very okay to them. But you are goody two-shoes. Once you crack, at that point where you decide to change or maybe decide to choose yourself, you'll start to learn things about the people around you, or rather the systems around you, and you'll gather information that no one else is privy to. Because this is what happened to me when I was this beautiful, everyone, trophy child, my goodness, who didn't want to be Olive Orao? Who didn't want their child to be Olive Orao when they were growing up? Perfect girl, everything. But then it got to a point where I didn't even crack. I just woke up one day and I was like, I'm so tired of all this taking care of a family. I want to see how living by myself is going to look like, right? And from that point, the way I was treated by people who have been there my whole life, I had insider information to who these people truly are before people around me started to see it. And the people around me also started to see it when they broke a certain rule. So you're still on the good side, but you didn't know that this bad side existed until you one day stepped out and peeped. And now you are privy to this information. And no one will believe you when you say, yo, my mom is toxic. No one's going to believe you when you say, this family hella dysfunctional. No one's going to believe you until they go through a certain instance where they also breach the code of whatever, the code of how whatever operates here. If they breach it a little and get insight into what you're talking about, then they'll understand. So you cracking and probably the way you were treated by your family or just realizing what your family holds as values, That's where you got an insight into, actually, this family, apana, there's something wrong here. So I am sorry you had to experience that. And it is life. We work through it, guys. We can't stay here and cry about it, right? It is life. I am so sorry, and you'll get through it. Just take your time to work on yourself. It doesn't have to be necessarily therapy. We also have to agree, guys, that therapy is not very cheap and not quite accessible, because we also want good therapy. We know experiences where you've gone to therapy and then you find someone who's born again there wanting to preach to you. Guys, please. So yeah, therapy is not as accessible and as affordable. So you can just, you can work towards things genuinely by yourself. Like, just try, be very intentional about making your life more peaceful. Anyway, I am sorry for that experience, and I know you will be okay. Okay. Someone else says, utatuacha, please. I will not leave you alone. The way I like to stir up violence. Who do you dare ask to leave you alone? I will not. Please deal with your goody two shoes reward, which is not even a reward per se, it's punishment. Oh yeah, there's a saying that goes, no good deed goes unpunished. Please add it to your books. Someone else says, I'm still a good child. As I said, it's very difficult to get rid of that trait. Even when you change and start choosing yourself, you'll still have traces of your goody two shoes life. Don't worry, you're human at the end of the day. Someone else says, I'm not a people pleaser. Pass me with that BS. Okay. I'm loving it. I love the growth. You know, because I've worked so hard at not being a people pleaser, I can literally see the progress. When I see other people, I'm just like, hey, guys, I love it here. I love it. Someone else says, I was a good child. Now I do not recognize myself. I'm here texting a Nandi man for ... Okay. Identity crisis is a thing. You will get to a point where, because all you did was you were a vessel. There was never a you. Am I making sense? You never existed as a human being. You only existed as a vessel for everyone around you. Oh, we actually called chameleon children. So that explains it. When your father needed something done, it was done. When teachers needed something done, it was done. Mother needed something done, it was done. Siblings required something, it was done. So you didn't have a you persona. You were literally a vessel. And wherever you stepped, your color changed to whatever it is that was required of you in that moment or in that instance. We are actually called, Goody Two Shoes kids are actually called chameleon child. So yeah, that explains this entire thing. You will find yourself, if you're quite intentional about just finding who you are and like finding that place that makes you happy, you will get there. Trust, for sure. Someone else says, it's hard. Ningesumbua too. All of us are thinking, if taken back, we will show our parents fire. But anyway, too late. Here we are. Someone else says, lukewarm, sai merimela kando. Merimela is an inside Kenyan joke. Okay. I will try to explain. If I find it on YouTube, I will put I'll put the link in the description. So, Merimela is this song. And technically, it's the story of a girl. She was a good girl. Oh, she was in school. She was passing. She was disciplined. And then she joined campus. And Merimela started doing what campus girls do. They dress funny, go out at night, they drink alcohol, and they have sex, right? So now Merimela is put out to be described as what, let me tell you, growing up, I don't know what it looks like right now, but girls only had two descriptions. Girls could only fit into two boxes. Girls were either the good ladylike girl, the ideal woman, this is wife material, eh? Girls were either in that box or a prostitute on crack. There is no in between. Like you, Anyway, so Merimela was, in that song, she's described as a prostitute on crack. But in Technically, it's her life starts as this ideal woman that we all think is, yeah, the epitome of lady. So yeah, that's the Merimela. So this girl says Merimela is shadow. The life she's living right now, a prostitute on crack could never. Anyway, someone else says, yes, I was. You were please tell me, these people who were good kids, please, can you give me an update? Did you ever get the reward? Have you gotten the reward yet? Someone else says, I was. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Now I'm a people pleaser, depressed, anxious, emotionally avoidant. She's described all those feelings. She's described literally every character we were talking about, but there's one I needed to plug in right now. Emotionally avoidant. When I kept saying, I have a problem with friendships, I have a problem with like connecting with people, I'm very guarded. Here we are. Here we are. We were always to be used. We never thought this reciprocity, what is it for? And so I think, to me, any connection that is probably outside work that will require a part of me that is personal, any connection seems to be a responsibility of sorts. I will need to rescue someone, or I will need to come through for someone, or I will need, at the end of the day, when you're trying to break those cycles, there's still the issue of, is this person coming into my life for convenience? Am I still offering extreme reliability? So it's very difficult to connect with humans, because humans to you have always been masters. You are a genie. They rub the lamp, you do as they say. So it's difficult even right now to just like have friends, because what am I supposed to do with these people if they're not handing out commands? They probably need me, and me, I'm trying to heal and get into my own space where I'm not getting you. So it's just it's a lot. It's a lot. Sending out love to fellow goody two shoes will be fine. Someone else says, I was a model child, lol. Book smart, always top 3, never suspended, of course a prefect, and I often say it is my parents who were lucky. We actually thought our parents are, in fact, they were lucky. For me, I'm thinking they had 5 kids. They had only had to raise 4, because there's one who was super independent, right? I was the child that got home and I had finished all my homework. So tell me, baby girl, after doing all this, has there been a reward? Please give me updates, guys. Someone else says, I was a very good kid, lol. Don't know what happened to me. Life. It just is life, baby girl. It is life. So you were a good kid. Now you don't know. We've discussed all of it. There's identity crisis. There's you just going through the process of, are you cracking? Are you now choosing yourself? Are you, hey, guys. Someone else says, I was a rebellious one because I had no one to stand up for me and protect me from the cruel world. I can understand where rebellion might have come from for some kids. And for you, you're saying you had to defend yourself from a cruel world. So I'm thinking you also had to grow up very fast. There's a way you had to fend for yourself, or to fend for your other siblings or for your family. And I guess that made you very abrasive. And I understand that. What I said is that being like that works out for people a lot of times. People who are very aggressive will be more successful in life because the system wants aggressive people. So I hope you are in a better place right now. Rebellion has always been a good thing. I know rebellious people have always been happier. I could have biases, but I love this for you. I love that you had to be rebellious because you were fighting for your space, and it's beautiful. And I hope right now you're living a good life. I hope that rewarded you in some way. Someone else said, I am unable to talk about it. Oh, yeah, I get it. It could be still very fresh. I've had right about maybe 3-4 years to work on not being a people pleaser, let me say. I so I'm a bit progressed in my journey. So you can imagine someone who's just probably left home or someone who's just starting to figure it out. It's still all a lot. And I hope that at the end of this podcast, you're able to pick something that might be of help. I really hope so. Someone else says, man, a bad man from day one. Okay, rebellious kids, you win. It's fine. Okay. I will move to the slightly longer responses that I got through DMs. My first person here says, I was a kinda easy child, sorta, okay? The one all parents in the village wanted their kids to play with. But being an only child, I also had to play the role of the black sheep, so I should say I was 50-50. Anyway, fast forward, I have been to therapy once na dunia pia inazidi kunifunza. My cousins still wonder how the heck I started partying, yet I was once marked to become a nun by our priest. Though my mom was sure ain't gonna happen, at least she knew me. Anyway, I've had at least a good childhood at a dunia ikiniramba. I love that you had a good childhood, and being an only child, I guess you also have attention to yourself. And things like being a goody two shoes or maybe being a disciplined good child, I feel like some of it is innately because you know how kids are born and someone says they've taken up the character of a certain uncle or my grandfather. So I think there's an innate character of whatever it is, being a good or a rebellious child, but there's also the nurturing that plays now the biggest part. So you can imagine if I've taken up the nature of someone who liked to serve people, and then now my family, or rather whoever is caring for me, has taken advantage of that and decided to just pile up responsibility for me instead of trying to make sure that I am a child. It's very, yeah, it's a delicate balance, even for parents. By the way, I can't sit here and blame parents. It really is a delicate balance, and parenting doesn't come with a manual. Someone else told me, "Hi, Olive. My take on Goody Two Shoes kids. Where are they now? Don't ask us. That is disrespectful." My firstborn sister was a good kid. She learned to cook and was good at it by 13. Very mild-mannered and never complained about anything. She was non-threatening in her demeanor and would rather be by herself in the kitchen singing. She was loved. For me, I was the devil child from the beginning. There's picture evidence of my attitude most of the time. I'll attach a pic. She actually attached a pic. She was an angry, rebellious child in that picture as well. My parents' fights also included my name. Fast forward, something changed in my sister. She served time for fraud. Her cut was 3 million, but she was in for 7 months. Has constantly moved locations to throw her pursuers off. In the last 3 years, her address has changed 7 times. It's scary. Life has been lifing. First of all, I want to really, really thank you for sharing your sister's story, because this means a lot when someone who's outside looking in can empathize and tell the story from that angle. Because most of the time people just go, she went rogue. She went rogue. No one really understands the story behind it. And I love this. I love this for humanizing your sister like that. And 2 things I picked up from now this your sister's story is 1, these kids grow to be very secretive. I grew to be very secretive, and it's a part of me that I still struggle with to date. I do things by myself. I will have wins and I will celebrate them quietly. People will come to know them by accident. I will have failures and I will deal with them quiet. Like you find security in no humans. People come to you for everything. You are literally very reliable, but you can't find security in other people. You don't find spaces where you're just like, this has happened, I want to talk to this person. So yeah, that I see for your sister. And then there's also the thing of adapting to change very quickly. As I have mentioned, we were called chameleon children. That means you see your sister moving, like having 7 addresses in how many? In 3 years. Change for us becomes very normal. If someone wakes up one day and you're told your parents are divorced, you adapt to it and make sure you support the parents that you're assigned to very dearly. Oh, that's the other thing. These kids who are really good take up the responsibility of not wanting to stress their parents or add on to what their parents or their caregivers are already doing. So that's where the idea of responsibility comes from, and you adapt to change very easily. And you see now, her sister can move from place to place very easily. Wake up one day, pack up and leave. I mean, this life instability is something that you've almost internalized. It is sad. And as I told you, whenever you can, in whatever way you can, love on your sister, because I have found so much support and grace extended to me from my 2 younger sisters. And sometimes I'm just moved to tears. I'm just like, it took them a while because they were also young. They also don't understand what's going on with their elder sister. But now we get to talk and they just get to understand my side of the story. And they humanize me in such a beautiful way. And I'm just like, whenever you can, love on your Goody two-shoes siblings. Just love on them. That's all. They just need to feel supported. They just need to feel secure. That's all. Someone else sent in, hey, Olive. At this point, I should just get my future baby Olive here. Are you sure? Are you sure? Anyways, I digress. Economy, please don't hear that. I was hard to raise because I was inquisitive and stubborn. And you know how people disliked curious kids? Kids who asked questions. Turns out it played a big role in my growth as an individual, as it acted as a confidence boost. Yes, kids who are very outspoken, it will work in your favor, always. Always. So I encourage parents who have kids right now, don't shush your kids. You know, I know in the African culture, there was a lot of kids that just to be seen and never heard. Don't shush your kids. You will find it will be very easy to let go of them into the world because then you're sure they can defend themselves. But for kids who were I was a weakling though. I was a weakling. My parents probably couldn't trust sending me into the world like that because, I mean, this one's going to get eaten up, right? So if your kids are outspoken, it's going to work for them very, very well. So you can even see outspoken kids really, really thriving, even as our friends, even as people we interact with every day. So I love that for you. I really, really do. Someone else says, what has changed? Let me write here. I missed out on a bit of fun as a child. A bit. As a child, your whole life should be fun. And you missed out on that. Anyway, by being on the straight and narrow and never got a chance to disappoint them, this top performing all the time is sort of toxic, and I blame it on my grown hyper independence. I don't like it at all. Crying emoji, crying emoji, crying emoji, crying emoji. Oh my goodness. Yes. The hyper independence you will develop, the hyper vigilance you will develop, because hyper independence is because you never found the security in other people that you offered other people. And for hyper vigilance is because because your environment could have been unstable, you had to pick up on signals very fast. Because for me, I remember even I think I've mentioned this in a previous episode, I had to calculate when to ask for things. Because I have to ask for it when you're in a good mood. So if this thing has a timeline and you haven't been in a good mood before the deadline, it's over. I just cancel it. Yeah. So you had to be like picking up on signals and where there was danger, all that, and avoid danger. And it was... And the thing is that people are heavily reliant on you, but no one is as reliable for you. So it that's how the hypervigilance just develops. And you find a lot of people like this are very guarded. So people want to be your friend, people want to interact, people want to get to know you, but you're just up here not wanting to go back to that space of chaos, instability. I really get it. I really get it. And hyper independence is tiresome. No one wants it. We also want back rubs. We also want rest. We also want to just not think about protecting ourselves 300 times a day. Hyper independence is horrible. I'm sending out love to you, and I hope it gets better. And again, as I keep saying, it doesn't have to be therapy, but take intentional steps towards probably not fixing per se, but adjusting some things that you feel are too much. Like I told you, I don't know what episode it was where I said, these days I stopped reaching out for the bill. I used to go everywhere just anxious, like I need to reach out for the bill. I cannot eat and not contribute. I cannot. These days I just chill. Unless you ask me to, I don't need to be paying the bill. Yeah. We will learn. Another long one I got, where hii mambo ya Miss Goody two shoes and doing things by the books iko na advantage na disadvantage. Advantage ni kuwa you will be a disciplined person, but the disadvantage ndio the big problem. Mimi sasa hapa Miss Goody, raised well, followed the book, soma, avoid boys and crowds, and at the end utakuwa na a good life. Olive, let me tell you. I was an example huko kwa village. Be disciplined like so and so. Lakini si tuko huku struggling with anxiety, especially when in crowds. Relationship we can't maintain. Kusoma tulisoma lakini tuna struggle. My biggest problem, kuambiwa nimekasirika saa zote. I swear this is my biggest problem. But tuliambiwa tusicheke na boys, and it became my worst habit. My resting bitch face is mistaken for a mean girl. I guess hii ndio main reason why men can't approach me. Now we haven't started with dressing, and we can't hold a conversation or even speak up. It's chaos just because we followed the books with the promise of a good life. Anyway, at least we don't have babies out of wedlock or baby daddy dramas. Nitakula masomo and good behavior. Nikipata pesa nitaenda therapy though. This is not shade to people who have kids. It's not shade at all. Just understand this, that us, people who don't have children, sometimes we need that fact for a win. Some days we need it. Because there are days when it's not your day or your week. It's bad. It's bad out here. If someone dares sit the wrong way, you're gonna slap them. It's really bad. So sometimes I genuinely catch myself just saying, at least it's evening, it's nighttime, I'm going home. And I'm not going to attend to something else, or I'm not going to get home to start being cautious about not lashing out or not taking it out on someone else. So that's usually a point I usually feel like it's consolation for me in some way. And it's not throwing shade to parents, because I know it is difficult. And I'm thinking the way we are here saying that our parents would take out their stress on us. I can imagine even you're having just as bad a day as me, and you still have to get home and support a mini you. You still have to get home and probably try and not take out this whatever you are feeling on this someone. It's a lot. It's a lot. And honestly, I don't know how parents do it, but I know I can't do it. But anyway, Miss Goody two shoes doesn't pay off. Yes, as I said, good girls finish last. This is what I mean. There's literally no reward for being good to get a reward. Those were all lies. Me, I was told you will be the blessed child. You will be the most successful child. Where will you be successful when you can't even talk, when you can't even articulate what you're feeling? Where? Abby, we've gone through enough. And it's okay. It's okay. We try and make it through. We can't also, I know in this podcast we discuss a lot of traumatic events, but we don't use them as crutches. We move on. Once something, we move on, please. We can't stay here. We can't stick here always. Oh, it's because of my childhood. No. We acknowledge that we've been shaped by our traumas, but we refuse for them to define us. Okay? I'll go to another one that I got. She says, Dear Olive, I will name you Maria or Mariah. When did we start calling Maria Mariah? Or those are two different names? Anyway, Dear Olive, was I a good child? Damn right I was. I would be asked to bend and I'd ask how far. I was a role model to my sisters, to my cousins. I excelled in school. I never got into trouble, did all my chores and those of my siblings. I was not rebellious at all. Anything I was told, I listened. I was very obedient, and my mom was very strict. My mom had gone through some difficulty raising me, and I had seen it, so I didn't want to add on to the burden by being an errant child. Growing up now, I realize I had inadvertently carried the burdens for so many things that a child should not have. I grew up to be a chronic people pleaser, rarely thinking about myself, always about others. I also have this need to be liked by others and to excel so that I can earn praise. Hey, that praise kink. I rarely make decisions without thinking how they'll impact people's perception of me. Being a good child also meant that, at least in my case, anything exceptional that I did was considered normal. I never earned praise or anything for anything I did. It was expected of me. Do you know, I graduated with the first class honors and no one bothered to throw me a party or even a card or a cake. So as an adult, I go out of my way to have someone compliment me for my work, and ironically, when they do, I feel uncomfortable. Being a good child still means that my family has extremely high expectations of me, so cannot afford to err. I think cannot afford to err. This puts a lot of pressure on me, seeing as I am still seen as somewhat a role model to my sisters. Boy, do I wish I had rebelled earlier as a teenager. It would have given me so much freedom to do whatever I wanted, to be okay with disappointing others, to truly follow my dreams and desires, not people's expectations. I feel like parents of the bad kids have less expectations of them and they live more freely. Anyway, it has been on my to-do list to disappoint my parents little by little this year and the years going forward. I need to regain control of my life. I am also in therapy to deconstruct some of the habits I took on because of being a good kid, plus other traumas. I know the good child persona saved me from some stuff, but mostly it has stifled me. I have already made some disappointments this year, but while scary at first, they are liberating after. In conclusion, kids, live your lives. Parents, release expectations on your children. Let them be. P.S. This post is a bit longish. Lol, I'm a writer. I couldn't do just one sentence. I love when writers write to me because their punctuation is mwah. If I'm reading it for the first time, I don't have to edit it. Love it. But anyway, yes, Mariah. Hey, Mariah, you summarized everything so perfectly. So perfectly. Everything I wanted to express, everything I wanted to articulate is expressed so well in this story. Thank you so much. Let me see what I want to reiterate on. Being a good child almost meant, oh my goodness, everything you do is an expectation. Who's gonna praise you for that shit? That is normal to you, as per you. And then when you do something wrong, you would want them to just ignore it the way they ignored the good things, right? No. We must make this anthill Mount Kilimanjaro. Let me tell you, today, Mount Everest must know that Olive, you moved out of home. How dare you? How dare you? I think what is most traumatizing about this is that you could do good. And then the one bad thing you do negates all these things you did before. We don't, invisible. Now it's this bad thing that you did. So it's really, really crazy. And then the expectations, there's just high expectations for people. And I am happy that you've started to think you want to disappoint your parents, because I usually say there is no timing for starting to disappoint your people. And usually when we say disappoint, there's nothing even you're doing. You're just choosing yourself. You're just choosing to say, no, I won't come and do the dishes. Get someone to do the dishes. And that already is enough talk of the town. Olive wanted to beat me up because I told her to wash dishes. No, we were talking on call. I can't beat you up through the phone. I just told you get someone to do dishes, not me. So you'll find that what people term, rather the people who are leeching on your reliability or your convenience, whatever they term as you've changed, whatever they term as you've gone rogue, these are very normal things. It's just you saying no to them. That's all. That's all you need for your whole narrative to change. For the narrative of Olive being good to change to Olive being the worst person in the world, you just need to say no to someone who's feeding off your convenience. That's all. And I'm glad that you actually want to disappoint, because me, once I woke up one day and I was like, see, I've already disappointed. There's no going back from this. Like, there's no cleaning up your radar. Once you've gone rogue, you've gone rogue. So I was like, from here, it can only get worse. So if I've done number 2, what's stopping me from doing number 3? It's not like if I go back to do number 1, it will clear whatever I've done before. Nah. If I've already gotten to level 2, just go up to level 5. It's already bad. There's no cleaning up. Thank you so much, Mariah, for sending this in. I loved, you made such a good summary. And I love this for you. I'm sending you so much love and so many hugs, warm hugs. You will be fine. And you're on the right track. And whatever it is you call disappointing your parents, I know it's just simple things like saying, no, I'm not coming home when you want me to come home. I'll come home after 3 months. Oh my goodness, they are so offended. Anyway, I didn't know this had closed up. Let me just wait for it to load. Okay, here we are. Another one, another long letter. Hey, Olive, you are my other big C's that this life had blessed me with. Aww, warm hugs. Please, let's go with the name Ola this time. Hola. Is that Spanish for hi? I think so. Anyway, so where do I begin? Long post ahead. Hey, it is long. Let us start. I don't know about the good kids, but of late I find myself wanting out the house, especially when the whole family is around, because at this particular moment, one word defines you: helper. Knower of everyone's needs and wants. It's like you have some two superpowers. Even before they ask, you are already at it. Don't get me wrong. I love my parents wholeheartedly. I cherish my siblings. And yes, I'm a good child. That I can attest. But coming back home and deeply sighing before you enter the gate is a feeling I never thought I would experience, especially somewhere you call home. A good child who does not go to parties, one who makes sure all the house chores have been done before you leave to go and attend to errands, one who strictly attends to their errands and back straight to their father's house, punctual. That's why if you ask me if I know particular places in town where I have lived for almost 20 years, I'd be staring at you like you won't understand even if I tell you the reason behind it. Make use of the Google Maps. Okay. I have had friends. Now I am not even sure if I still got any, because when will we bond and get to know more about each other? I'm either at home or work, actually those two places, and my timing is always known. As a good child that I am, I always notify if I will be getting home late, and mark you, I have to give valid reasons why. So, dear friends, if you ask me if we can hang out and I tell you najipanga, I will let you know, believe me, huwa najipanga. So then, this recent occurrence, I wake up very early as usual, made breakfast, prepared my siblings for school, and continued the rest of the chores, knowing very well I am off to town to clear my mind. My mom knew. So at around 10, she tells me she has received an urgent call, she needs to leave for a while, she'll soon be back. And who am I to refuse? Our last one is 2 years old, so I had to remain back until mom was back at around 2 p.m. She comes back asking me if I am still going to town, and yes, I am leaving the house for a few hours. I like that for you. I like that you were firm in leaving the house still. Knowing very well that if I had left early, I would be back at around 4 or 5 to cook dinner as expected. But this time round, I don't know what calculations I did and returned home at exactly 7 p.m. I know it's early, but mahali naishi, hii ni kama saa 8 za usiku. But I had done almost everything. Supper was even ready. Mboga nishapika, it was just to warm, cook ugali and eggs, and voila, supper. But that was not the thing. How dare I set foot that late? I didn't text to let anyone know I was running late. I was told I wanted to come at home if I wanted to come at home during such hours, I should go do it at my house. You think we can't leave and go do it at our houses if we had the chance? But tough times. Without money, I just stuck here for some few months. And at the back of my mind, I am wondering, is she mad I didn't cook supper, or the fact that I just stayed out for a while? I had completed every work that I know very well was supposed to be attended to, but haizuru, I humbled and continued with the evening. However, of late it has become overwhelming because I do my part very well. I respect, love, diligently serve, but still all this is very much overlooked. Lakini jaribu ufanye makosa kidogo. Yo! But yes, this good child will still be a good child ata akihama. Ndo aingie kwake past saa moja. Na watani miss. Acha tu. Thank you for your time and creating a safe space. You will be missed. Let me tell you for a fact, you will be missed. I've told you guys. People don't know what they have until they lose it. My mom thought it was very normal for her to come back home and find kids have showered, find supper ready, find breakfast on the jiko, find the house is clean. She didn't understand that it's one of your children who keeps this household running, and they never once appreciated it. When I tell you I was sure I wanted to go to campus in a different town, I was sure. My parents had it in their plan that I was either gonna go to law school or medicine school. So where we lived, in that small town where we lived, medicine school is 2 kilometers from my house. Give me 7 minutes. I'm a brave walker. I'll be there in 7 minutes, tops. And then law school was like 8 kilometers away. That's like 30 bob, bus fare. And when I tell you I was sure I'm not going to be a day scholar because I can't come from school having studied medicine or law and come back and start thinking, what are we eating for supper? When will this house be cleaned? When will laundry be? I'm not going to do that. I knew it in my head and I had made the calculation. And I knew, come rain, come shine, I'm going for campus away from this town. And actually, my dad got me to apply to Moi University, which was in the same town. The letter came in March and I told him I'm not going. He was like, I know you've applied to Maseno, But that letter, not everyone gets accepted. I was like, let's wait. If I don't get accepted, we'll see what to do then. Anyway, September came, I got accepted, went to Maseno, started living my life. When I went to campus, I came back for the first time home, and on that day, I found my mom. She was red. She was literally red. She had shouted at my sisters. She was at the brink of tears. She was cutting up chicken. There was spatter blood, whatever, in the kitchen. It was a chaotic scene to walk into. And I just found my mom screaming. And she was just like, I have had enough of these kids. I cannot. And I'm just like, you don't realize your child was taking care of these irate human beings? At the time, I could not gloat. I just felt really sorry for her and just like put my bag down and started helping her out. But I realized you literally, that's the point where I realized you literally never appreciated anything I was doing in this house until you woke up one day and realized the house is not clean. Realized these kids can't do shit for themselves. Even if you told them to do things, they aren't doing things. They're just the terrorist child now. These are the children I was taking care of. Now you realize, oh my goodness, you were heavily reliant on one of your children that you did not realize how much difficult it's going to be for the other children to be existing here. You didn't realize how much that child was covering up, how much house chores and just basically operations of the house this child was doing until they were away. And then you realize, oh my freaking goodness, I cannot deal with this. But anyway, yes, baby, you will be missed. You will be, and they will never know how much you're doing for them until the day they won't have you. So I can't wait for the day you will move. I cannot wait. And right now, looking back, I'm thinking, was me coming late actually? Were you mad because you had to find someone else who's not as reliable to make supper? Or were you just mad that you were worried that you didn't know where I am and it's getting late? What was it really? What was it? And I understand, like, you've perfectly described my life. There's a time I even had a job at on radio. I was supposed to be there at, was it 6? The show would start at 6, so at least 5:45. And from the way I've been trained, it was extremely bad manners to leave the house having not done anything. So you can imagine I had to wake up at maybe around 4 or no, 5, I'd get late. At around 4:30, so that I make sure I clean the house, make breakfast, and figure out what can be for lunch before leaving the house. Can you imagine? Just waking up 1 hour, 30 minutes early. And this is a house that has full grown-ups who can rely on themselves. But of course, since Olive exists, you're supposed to wake up. People are supposed to wake up to these things. People are supposed to wake up to breakfast on the table, a clean house. From there on, they'll figure out who'll do the rest of there. So it was a crime to leave the house having not done anything. And this girl has literally described my life to a T. You know, there are days when you know I'm going to run late, I'm going somewhere. And for me, it was never even, I never even went on my own errands. I was literally going on errands that still involved the house, like maybe the market, or I needed to pick something, or I was sent to someone's house to pick something. And I know, okay, I was busy during the day. Now I'll have to leave the house at around 6. By the time I go and come back, it will be probably 8. But then before I leave at 6, I've started early. I've already made supper. So now I've left one thing, like maybe just cook rice. There's already stew that needs to be warmed. But I'll still come back and it will still be a problem. Why didn't you go early? You know, I'm just like, even if the problem is I was the one to make supper, can't someone just come and boil rice? Like, I was still attending to something that relates to this house. Anyways, now we are called the ones who've gone rogue and we're rebellious because we said we will not serve people anymore. I can't wait for you to move out. I really cannot wait for you to just have a place of your own and experience peace, because every goody two-shoes child deserves that. You deserve a space where you can walk back into at any time and not feel like you are responsible for everything at all the time. I really hope you move out of home because I feel triggered. I am so triggered. I'm so triggered right now. Um, that recent occurrence it's really triggered me. But there's something you mentioned that you don't know places in your town. I've lived in Eldoret for 18 good years. And I cannot tell you places to go. I can't even tell you places to eat. I was literally in Eldoret the other day, and it's the first time I've been to like clubs, like going clubbing in a town I've grown in for 18 years. And I can't show you places around my town. I can't tell you, let me take you for a walk. I don't know. I don't know places, please. So it's really, being a goody two shoes has no reward. That I can tell you for a fact. And that was the last letter that I got. I'll just go through some of the lessons that I personally know being a goody two shoes does not pay. By now, you have picked up that I was a goody two shoes. I was the golden child. I was everything everyone ever wanted. I struggled in school. I'm not an extremely smart person. So I excelled in the arts. The sciences, of course, would droop me down. But I tried my best. And I am now an adult and just realizing I feel like people around me who were a bit rebellious, people who were just rogue growing up, kids who were rogue growing up, including my own siblings, like I can see they're like way more successful. I can see like life is offering them more. They are not afraid to ask for things. And I can only wish, but I can't go back in time. And so for now, I'm doing the best I can to give myself whatever it is that I can offer myself. So one thing that I have talked about is being unappreciated. You never know what you have until it's taken away from you. Your family, your friends will never know what you have until it's taken away from you, until you leave them. And then there's this idea of, oh my goodness. And it doesn't even help that we are we are very emotionally avoidant. I usually feel like a lot of times people tend to cling to me. And I know it's because of the convenience I have offered in their life, or rather the reliability I've offered in their life. But I don't feel the same to them. I feel like a lot of times people are very clingy. People just want to be around you. But I can't reciprocate that. I can't form connections with you the way you formed a connection with me, because I don't know if I feel secure enough. I by nature provide a safe space. I provide a safe, secure landing for people around me. But still, there's some difficulty in finding that from these very same people. So anyway, that brings me to my second point, which is all-knowing. Literally you play God. Let me tell you, when you're a goody two shoes, you're extremely reliable. You play God. People call you for everything. And when I tell people I have major anxiety when I see my phone ringing, people don't get it. Because let me tell you, being the person who just knows it all, and it's everyone, there's no exception. Your friends, your parents who are literally older these are people who birthed you. They're literally older than you. Your siblings, your cousins, old, young, everyone will call you because you know something. And it's not all, and it's just like, it's just like, Olive, I have this wedding. Do you know where I can get? Olive, I'm going through this thing. Please help me. Olive, I'm going for a job interview tomorrow. Can you psych me up? Olive, I broke up with my boyfriend. What am I supposed to do? Olive, I want to buy this thing. Can you do research for me? Olive, I think you do a very good job at planning events. Can you try my baby shower? Olive, let me tell you, I literally cannot see my phone ring and think, oh, nice, this person want to check up on me. My phone ringing means something. It means I need to offer something. And that's why I'm anxious. The all-knowing thing brings a lot of, there's a strain when it comes to friendships and even at work. Because even at work, I find myself in very many spaces taking up like leadership roles quite naturally. Like I don't see it, there's no elections. People will just think, Olive, take it up. Because it's all like, even at work, it'll just be like, Olive knows how to. Olive will figure out how to. Olive, And a lot of the times, it's like you're walking around as a human encyclopedia. And you know this, everything. And it's just so exhausting. It's so exhausting. And I think that's what then that's what gives levels to like the emotionally unavailable traits, the avoidant connection styles, the trust issues, the hypervigilance, hyper independence. Like, it's a lot. So I'm not trying to justify my toxic connection traits. I'm just saying, sometimes when you see that, or maybe you have a friend who you go to for a lot of things, just sometimes think that, because I tend to tell my friends, I don't ask for a lot. I just ask for time away. That's all I'm asking for. Because even if I came to you and said I required, I don't know, a safe place, I don't know what it is I want you to offer me. So sometimes just listen to your friends who are sort of like messianic to you. Observe the friends around you who are sort of the friends who are always coming through. These are the friends who are swimming oceans. When you're in a dilemma, that friend you think about first. And if you ask your other friend groups, and if you ask people in your friend group, you'll realize it's also them. Be very careful with those friends. When they ask for things like space, like me, a lot of the times I just ask my friends, can I just like be away? That's all. I just need to be away, because that's how I recharge. That's how like I can think straight. I can declutter. Even I don't know. Even I haven't figured this shit out. But being all knowing is freaking exhausting. Like, you're literally playing God to your parents, your siblings. Literally, we get calls where we are being told, have you heard your cousin has done this? Can you talk to her? Sometimes you're getting a call from someone who's like 60 years old, and this cousin who you're supposed to talk to is like older than you by maybe 10 years. And you're just like, why is this being entrusted to me? Like, why is this? And sometimes people ask for you'd think that people come and ask for overly unique things. No, people have called me to be like, can you psych me up? I'm feeling bad. Like, yo. We are just this well that overfloweth. Like, you just come and dip and chota and go. Like, yeah, please. Your goody two-shoes friends are also tired of... They're also trying. I mean, that's a trauma that they're trying to heal from. They're also trying to find themselves. Just be a decent human if you can be. Be a decent human and understand that they too need this recharge. I think they also need, for you to undo years of being trained, or rather years of serving people, I think it will also take a few years of this person being convinced, you do not need to serve me. You do not need to serve me. You do not need to serve me, for this person to finally start feeling safe in a particular space. And honestly, sometimes it even feels, you've seen me even share like random videos where people are saying, have you ever had a friend who's not even confident in themselves? It literally is draining to be their friend. Because then it's you who has to keep, oh, you're beautiful, oh, you're nice, oh, you're looking good, oh, you're... Like, that in itself is work. We can't always equate work to things that we do physically. Emotionally, we also do a lot of work. So just be careful with the friends you have in your life. I've talked about hypervigilance, hyper independence. Something that I don't know if, it could have been insinuated, but it's not very clear. Goody two-shoes kids. If you have a child who's very keen to see that mommy and daddy are going through something, so I will step back, or I will not ask for things so that it's easier for them. Because I remember feeling like that. I remember even when moving out of home and my mom was like, you don't need to move out of home. I told her, mommy, you now have one less mouth to feed. which should be a win for you. And she was just like, no, that's not it. Like, I don't think of my kids as mouth to feed. You think of your kids as just like these people that you love and you want to care for. And to me, I was thinking, I've seen financial strain. I've seen you take care of like the whole world. So I'm just saying, I'm one less person to think about. So kids, like Goody Two Shoes kids are like that, okay? So what people also do realize is that they are very susceptible to abuse and targeted violence because they're the kids who won't speak up. They're the kids who will try not to impose or add on to people's already stresses. Like, so those are the kids predators pick up on. Those are the kids who bullies pick on. Those are the kids who even like emotional abuse from the people around them. Those are the kids that will be picked up by mostly abusers. So just be very, very careful if you're raising a child who you can see is an easy child to raise. Make sure you are humanizing them and you keep reminding them that they are children and they give them the opportunity to be children. Encourage them to speak out in whatever way that they can, because I know kids speak out in different ways. The rebellious ones will be just in your face shouting, no, I don't want. If this kid of yours is probably the soft-spoken kind, then no. This one, after I'm done shouting at this one, I go and sit down with this one quietly in a corner and we talk. So I admire my sister a lot. She has twins. And let me tell you, these twins have been born from the same womb at the same time. They live in the same environment, raised by the same parents. But these kids are two hella different kids. And my sister literally adjusts to that. Like, she'll go and give grapes to these kids who like fruits and then come back and give cheese to this one who does not eat fruits. Like, she's compartmentalized her kids so well. And it's not a hard thing to do, because I realized just hanging out around my nieces, I realized that I can also pick it up. I am not a parent. I don't even have motherly instincts. But just from interacting with them a few times, I usually know, oh, that's the quiet one. Just give her this toy to play with. Oh, that's the one who likes running around. Let me take her to the grass. It's easy. Like, once you interact with kids, you just pick up on who they are. They have different personalities, and raise your kid like that. I could be here giving a manual on how to do it. I am not a parent. There is no manual. I am sorry if I'm overstepping, but that's all I can say as a former child. But with that brings us to the end of another long podcast. But I love it here. We always share. And please remember to check out my prompt for the next episode on Thursday on my socials. That's YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Olive Orao, and we'll keep talking. I hope this episode was helpful in some way. I hope you learn. I hope you laugh a little. But with that said, I will now take my leave. And I hope you have a beautiful week over. Until next week, as for now, bye.